So in this video, we're going to be going over the metrics that we track in order to grow OnlyFans models accounts. Okay. So one of the most important things that you can do as an agency owner is know your numbers. So we have tracking sheets built in terms of my OnlyFans agency when it comes to internally tracking my agency's numbers. We have tracking sheets when it comes to managing our client accounts as well. And this is an example of just one of them when it comes to tracking our OnlyFans models performance. Now, if you don't know your numbers, you don't know what you need to improve to get to where you want to be. You can kind of take a guess at it, but essentially you're a blind man trying to run this business. Whereas if you know your numbers, not only does it give you so much more peace of mind because you know your numbers, you know the direction you're heading in, you just know that you need to hit these metrics in order to maintain revenue or increase it. But as well as that, it allows you to grow so much quicker. So here we're going to go through one of my consulting clients' model accounts, and this is what we filled out. So we have these master metrics, so we can track metrics such as the subscription price, monthly new subscribers, total subscribers, revenue, just metrics like this. And we have this for revenue, for content, for expense, subscriber, engagement, fan reach, profitability, content sales metrics, and live streaming metrics. So once we have our consulting client fill in one of these with all this information, and we get all this information from various softwares such as Inflow to get this info, as well as some platforms that we use for marketing, so platforms such as Instagram, Reddit, and Twitter for the reach. But yeah, we get the metrics from software. We can then import the metrics into this sheet here, and then using these metrics we can then see the weaknesses and the strengths of this current model. So the model's got a $15 subscription price. Now the reason this is green is because it's agreed upon that this is a good subscription price. $15 is relatively on the higher end. You have some people doing $4 subscription price, $6, $8, $15 is a good subscription price on the higher end, and we're still getting lots of subscribers. So this month it was 200, last month I should say it was 210 subscribers that came through, and the total subscribers was 450. Okay. Now, in terms of the monthly revenue of the account, it's $14,294. Okay. So using this, we can see this is where the account is currently at. We can look at this is where the price is coming from. So we've got $6,750 coming from subscriptions alone. Now, in terms of is this ideal? This isn't. So we've got lots of money coming through from subscriptions, but tips, pay-per-view, and custom content is substantially lower than the subscription revenue. And ideally, you should have your subscription revenue, you should have it be inverse. So you should have your subscription revenue be the lowest, and then you should have your tips revenue, pay-per-view revenue, custom content revenue being substantially higher than your subscription revenue, which is why this is red. So there's room for improvement when it comes to essentially the chatting operation inside of this, inside of our clients' models OnlyFans account. As well as this, we've had a look at the content metrics. So the content metrics, this kind of gives us a good idea in terms of community nurturing. We can see the engagement isn't too bad. However, the pay-per-view open rate is only 40%, which again is on the lower end. We want to ideally push that up. And then we have expense metrics. So obviously we do 50% rev share with the models. So after OnlyFans has taken their 20% fee, we then have the model payment taking 50% of that, which is $5,717 for doing absolutely little work, literally making some content a couple of hours a day. We then have marketing spend. We have virtual assistant costs when it comes to helping out run the model account. At this moment, I think the guy is only got virtual assistants when it comes to marketing. He hasn't got virtual assistants when it comes to chatting. We then have software costs, and then we then have the total expenses. So this is software costs, virtual assistant costs, marketing spend. Okay. So this, in general, total expenses is pretty good considering the revenue that it's bringing in. Identified around about 80% profit margin, which is indeed very good. We then have a churn rate. So we look at subscriber metrics. So the churn rate, so how often people are joining and then leaving. The renewal rate, so how often people are renewing their subscription. The average subscriber lifetime value, the subscriber acquisition cost in total. So how much money it costs to get one subscriber. And as you can see, this is good metric here. So it's $7 to get a subscriber, to acquire a subscriber via marketing costs. And then each subscriber is worth $15, okay? So it is good. It's not fully sustainable as long as we increase the average subscriber lifetime value. So if they have an average lifetime value of $31, that's going to be around about $15 for the agency and $15 for the model. And then the subscriber acquisition cost is $7 here, okay? So these are not too bad. However, the churn rate is on the higher side. So there's some things you can do to get rid of the churn rate, such as implementing some automations to actually keep subscribers in. So when they do turn off their auto rebill, you can actually send offers to them to get them back in. So essentially, if people are turning off their subscription, either they're not getting value from that community itself, so the model isn't uploading enough content, the model isn't appealing to that particular niche, the model isn't meshing them back quick enough, the model basically just isn't giving them what they want, so it isn't worth the money in their opinion. And it's a sign of ineffective community nurturing, so not effectively building an emotional relationship with the subscribers within the model's account, okay? So there's a few things we can do to improve churn rate, such as improve the chatting. Again, it's another weakness that corresponds to this weakness that we found here. Chatting is the clear weakness within this model account. It's because he's doing it himself at the moment, so he needs to hire a chatter, and that's going to improve. It's going to improve the churn rate. It's going to improve the tips revenue, pay-per-view revenue, custom content revenue, as well as turning on a few automations to, again, hit them with more offers. If people are turning off their rebill and they're not rebilling again, so they're not turning it back on, then they're not being hit with enough offers to get them to turn that rebill back on. So it's about effectively having more automations built, which pitch them with more offers to get them to turn that rebill back on. Response rate, again, response rate is 75% from subscribers, which again isn't ideal. The average response time is 12 hours. Private messaging revenue is $1,500, and DM open rate is 65%. So in general, the account is performing well. As you can see from just this one account with his agency, all in all, is making 4.5K in profit every single month from this account, which is an 80% profit margin for him as an agency. And it's basically going well. It's what you could expect from a $14,294 account, but there's a lot of room for improvement. So in terms of what we recommended Alfie to improve, it was very simple. So is operating at a sustainable margin here, is making 80% profit from the amount of subscribers that it's got. So his operation is working. It's just a question of growing it. So it's got 210 subscribers coming in every single month. Now we want to increase that. And imagine if you increased it to 1,000 subscribers, you'd automatically be adding so much more revenue to the model account just by increasing subscribers. And that can be done quite easily because he's got good unit economics in terms of what we looked at here when it comes to acquiring subscribers. $7.14, that is very good. So he can quite easily scale the actual amount of subscribers he's bringing in, bringing the cost of subscriber acquisition up, but ultimately it's at a sustainable level. His pay-per-view open rate was at 40%. Quite easily can increase that to 80% through using better pay-per-view sales strategies. So including the preview within the pay-per-view content, improving the captions alongside the pay-per-view content, improving the pricing around the pay-per-view content, improving the messaging. Again, the response time is quite long, so improving the messaging, building up these more emotional connections, doing more community nurturing. He can improve the pay-per-view open rate as well as selling better content, so you can get that from 40% to 80%. Already that's going to double the actual pay-per-view sales generated within the account here, which was $4,000. And here we have subscriber churn rate. So subscriber churn rate is currently at 15%. If we can get the subscriber churn rate down to 10%, that's going to also be a significant improvement. There's going to be lots more subscribers staying on, and it's quite easy to do that as long as you implement some effective community nurturing strategies. So most of his issues stem around from not building enough emotional intimacy with the subscribers, not having good community nurturing when they are inside, so not being able to effectively keep them on, not having automation set up to improve the churn rate, so to hit them with more offers when they do turn their auto rebuild off, not using an effective pay-per-view strategy, and then he can just scale up his subscribers that he's getting, okay? So based on this at the moment, 210 subscribers coming in a month, subscriber flow, 40% pay-per-view open rate, 15% subscriber churn rate, is making $14,294 in revenue and then $4,574 in profit. Now, if he just improved the amount of subscribers that is attracting, which you can do just very easily through implementing some more promotional systems, he increases the pay-per-view open rate, which we discussed how to do that, and increases the churn rate to 10%, or improves it to 10%, then he can get $28,544 in revenue, which can result in net profit for his agency from this one model account, $9,474 profit from this one model account, okay? So the unit economics are there. We've identified what exactly he needs to improve, and is going to implement the exact strategies that we told him to improve. And so he did. And this is the after result. So the month after, he kept the subscription price the same because that was good. Increased the new subscribers. So he didn't increase it to 1,000. However, he did increase it to 437. Increased the monthly total subscribers. So that's a sign of improved churn rate, which again, his pay-per-view open rate increased it to 59%. So not 80%, but 59% through implementing better pay-per-view strategies, improved the community nurturing. So these prices went up, $5,642 from tip revenue, $8,128 from pay-per-view revenue, $1,800 from custom content revenue. So his total revenue was $31,000. Total expenses also did dramatically increase, obviously having to pay out the model more, having to deal with platform fees, marketing spend increased, virtual assistant costs increased, software costs increased. His churn rate decreased from 15% to 10.4%. Again, massive improvements from implementing those automations to retarget them with more offers when they do turn the auto rebuild off. His response rate went up. The average response rate went down. Private messaging revenue soared up, which is nearly a double increase, or more than a double increase. DM open rate went up. This is through community nurturing strategies that we implemented. His marketing reach went up significantly from 74,302 to 153,284 by implementing the subscriber acquisition systems that we have given to him and he's put in place. And as we can see, still maintaining 80% profit margin, which is what he's very adamant he wants to maintain. And his net profit is $7,714. So he's making $7,171 from this model account, okay? And he's got another model account, but this is just from this one model. It's making $7K a month from this account, okay? So this is why it's really important that you keep track of these units, because they're just going to absolutely help you out when it comes to growing your OnlyFans agency and growing individual client accounts as well. So he's also increased the number of live streams that he's doing as well. Noted that performing is making $500 of live stream revenue, so about $250 per live stream. And now his track the better is making $1,567 increased just by increasing the live streams. The upsell has gone up as well. So all in all, it's looking very good for him. Now, next, we need to improve the chatting. So still, the subscription revenue is the behemoth. So chatting is going to need to be improved. So we're going to use our done-for-you chatter placement service, where we're going to onboard a chatter, We're going to onboard a pre-trained OnlyFans chatter into his agency. So the chatter is going to be able to absolutely increase this. So this is going to skyrocket his earnings, potentially up to $50,000 a month, just by implementing better chatting, more effective chatting, and hiring a chatter within the account. So this is what we're going to do for this client over the next coming month. But all in all, I hope you got a lot of value from this video. I hope you see the exact metrics that you need to track in order to grow an OnlyFans model account. And you can see quite clearly how tracking the metrics give you a clear idea on exactly what you need to improve, and improving those particular aspects with pre-built systems allow you to just basically keep on scaling the model account endlessly. And for those of you wondering, why did this model decide to work with an agency as opposed to just doing it herself when she could have so much better profit margins? So instead of 14, that's revenue 14,294, she'd be looking at 12,000 gross profit for herself. Why is she working with an agency? The simple fact is that she was stuck at $3,000 before working with an agency. She was stuck at $3,000. She was working all day, every single day, making content, marketing herself, doing all of the improvements to her OnlyFans account, chatting to subscribers. She was doing it all herself. Now she's only working 2 hours a day, creating content, and she's making more money. She was making $5,717 as opposed to making literally about $2,000 gross profit from when she was doing all of it herself. So that's exactly the reason why these models want to work with an OnlyFans agency to scale their account for them. So I hope you got value from this. If you did, make sure you book in a call down below where you can get started as a student within my consulting program, where we can give you the exact systems that we have at my OnlyFans agency. We can give those systems to you. You can install them in your own agency and you can start making this sort of money, just like Alfie did here. As well as that, there's a free community down below which you can join. You can get access to some free value in terms of some documents. You'll get some access to an 8K a month OnlyFans model account breakdown. So how we scaled this OnlyFans model from $0 to $80,000 a month, the exact breakdown of that particular account. So without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.